Hello everyone, today I'm going to give you a tour of my workspace. So I've been wanting to make this video for the longest time. I've already stayed here in this new apartment for almost a year, and this is a 3-bedroom apartment, so I'm using one of the bedrooms as my workspace, my office. So this is where I create most of my work. This is the view from the door, and that's my main desk. That's where I do most of my computer work. And I have another table here. This is the table where I create art, and this is also the table that I make most of my YouTube videos on. This is actually a wooden table, but I have a sheet of cardboard on it to protect the surface. When it comes to using paint, if you get paint onto the wood, sometimes it can be very challenging to clean it off properly. That's why I have this sheet of cardboard, and if this gets dirty, I can very easily throw this out and get a new cardboard. So this is a very affordable way to do so. I have some clips on the side here. I use them to hold my watercolor brushes when I'm painting. And I have some excess watercolor paint that I have prepared to sell off to some of my YouTube viewers. This table is a bit small, so when it comes to filming my tutorials, it's sometimes a bit challenging because sometimes I need a bit more space. But the good thing about this is actually very mobile. I can just push this around depending on where the sunlight is coming in from. So for example, right now the sunlight is coming from there, so I cannot place my table too close to the window. So for example, now I have this small table very close to the window, and the sunlight is casting shadows from the window grills, and this obviously does not look nice, and sometimes the sunlight will just go away because it's cloudy. So this is very uncontrolled lighting, which is not good for making videos. So I will just basically place my table here and make my videos from here. So that's the window where I hang some stuff, and that's the very busy road that is causing me a lot of grief. When I was living with my parents, that was actually a very quiet neighborhood, and when I recorded my YouTube videos, you can actually hear the birds chirping, but now that has been replaced by traffic noise. I mean, this window, it does a pretty good job blocking out the noise, but it's not like 100% noise proof. There are many things hanging from the window grill, so that's my backpack. Sometimes I hang this here to make space on the floor. That's my camera that I use to record most of my YouTube videos. It's always on a tripod because it has no stabilization. And this camera that I'm using to film right now, this is great for handheld because there is built-in stabilization. So this is my camera strap. These are the fountain pen wraps, and these are all the fountain pens that I have. The reason for hanging all this here is because these are all leather products, and unfortunately here in Singapore, the climate is very humid, so all these leather products, they are prone to getting attacked by fungus, by mold. And you can see that this is actually bright pink, but because of the sun, this color has faded off to this pale color. So these are some of my fountain pens. Here I have some more. On this window grill, this is where I dry some of my items, like this water bottle here. And I have this watercolor box. There are some paints inside, the Kuretake Gansai Tambi paints. I put this here because, again, some of the paints, they are susceptible to mold attack, so I have to put them under the sun to get the heat to prevent the mold from growing. Let's see what's on my table. So I have this little fan here that's clipped to the side. When I'm recording my video, I would turn on the air conditioning so that I can close the window, but when I'm not recording, I would actually just turn on my fan to cool down. So that's my monitor, and this monitor comes with a shading hood, which is really nice because I can actually put a lot of things on top of it. This is my hat, my watercolor palette, this is the aircon remote, the keyboard, mouse, my computer is behind. I have some cables hanging from the right side. So this table is very nice because I can have the cables run here, and I can use the cables to charge my phone around this area. this part here, this is where I store and keep all my watercolor brushes. I still keep those worn out brushes. I have many new ones as well as the old ones. These are some of my watercolor boxes, and these are all my stationery supplies. I don't have a lot of space on my table, so I try to keep the items as few as possible. And in those drawers are actually some cables, additional stationery. This chair, well, this is one of those gaming chairs. I don't recommend getting gaming chairs because the high back, it looks nice, but it's actually not very functional. So that's one of the new pen tablets that just arrived a few minutes ago. I will just put my stuff, some of those packages here before I unbox them. So this is actually a wardrobe for clothes, but I have put in some shelves, plastic cabinets here to store all my art supplies. Right at the top there, that's where I keep all the pen displays that I have reviewed on my YouTube channel. I usually keep them until I see some art event here in Singapore where I can give out those pen displays as prizes, usually to art students. So this is where I keep all the art supplies. There are some batteries and accessories here. These are some watercolor brush boxes, pen wrap. This is a spray bottle, and we have more brush wraps here. I seldom use them because I use my portable brushes, so I don't have a need for those pen wraps. These are some empty pens, half pens, full pens, empty boxes here and there. I have this because I am selling off some of my excess watercolor paint to make space to get more paint to test out. So here are some of my watercolor boxes and some art supplies. We have gouache there. Inside this box, I believe, are some watercolor markers. So this is a pretty small cabinet, plastic cabinet, and this is very useful. So I have these different compartments to help me sort out, differentiate the different items, separate the different items, sorry. So here is the watercolor cabinet with all the different watercolor sets that I have used and yet to use. White Knights, we have Core. This is Shinhan, Turner Artist, and some empty watercolor boxes that I bought many years ago but have since stopped using. So I probably need to put this here. And here we have some markers. So these are the markers, Copic markers, Spectrum Nor, and some Ecoline inks inside. So this is the ink and marker drawer. On this side here, we have some, well, these are all the computer cables. Oh, let me show you the, let's just move the way up here. This is some, I think this is where I store some of the pens and pencils. And also there are some fountain pens here as well. So these are all the accessories to the fountain pens. These are the ink cartridges and pencil leads. I have some technical pens here. And more pen wraps. Inside there are some fountain pens as well. Those are the cheaper fountain pens. The more expensive ones are inside the leather pen wrap. So here I have some colored pencils, some crayons, some pastels that I seldom use, and some, what's this, colorless blender, mechanical pencils. So this is the pencil plastic cabinet, pencil drawer. And here, that's where I have all my bottle inks, the India inks, Noodler. I have empty bottles that I still keep. Speedball, India ink. And I think some accessories like clips, staples and all those little items. Here I have some clips, a lot of clips here, and some accessories. And here are some paperwork. Right up here I have, well, that's my belt. Empty plastic container that I use to keep some watercolor tubes. Another tripod here. And I have some lights just in case I need additional lights for filming. I have those there. And just at the bottom of, just below the plastic cabinets, I have this wooden cabinet that I got someone to build. So here I have my watercolor boxes with all the Daniel Smith paint inside. So there are a lot of different colors here. And here right at the bottom, this is where I keep all my bags, my hats, my portable stools, basically all the carrying stuff. Let's close this side and open the other sliding door. So this is just one big wardrobe. And at the top, those are the boxes. I have this Synology disk station. Basically, there are some hard disks inside where I store my backups, and all those boxes, they are the tablets and pen displays. So here, on top of this shelf here is where I keep my quick access items. And this shelf here, this is where I keep my sketchbooks. The ones that are filled are at the back, the ones that are empty or half filled are right in front so that I can access them easily. I have some clips here to clip my sketchbooks when I'm working with them. That's the fixative that I use to spray on watercolor paper to fix down the paint and ink. So I have some watercolor pads here as well, some writing pads. That's a watercolor palette, some additional just watercolor paper. Many of these books have already been reviewed. I actually have another larger bookshelf where I keep most of my art books. So for books that I have already reviewed, I will actually just transfer them here to the other shelf. But I have many of these reviewed books here because I refer to them quite often to get ideas for my YouTube videos. So these are the small urban sketching handbook series with many ideas, and I get a lot of inspiration from such small books. Those are the bigger books, and here at the bottom I have more books that I have yet to review. So this is basically the shelf that I always show you guys during my book review videos. And at the bottom two drawers there, again, some additional accessories, cables, bags. And here on this side, I have some watercolor paper that I keep here, especially for those large watercolor pads that I cannot fit onto the shelf. I put them on the side. And you may not be able to see clearly, but between this shelf and the plastic cabinet there, I keep my Canon scanner just right there. So as you can see, this is a pretty small bedroom. It's just this big cabinet here, and then we have the door. And I try to keep my room as clean as possible. Notice that there's nothing on the wall. Maybe it's a bit boring, but sometimes I actually use this background to take some photos for my thumbnails. And there are some stains on the wall. Once I was trying to refill my fountain pen with a blunt syringe, and I pressed the syringe too forcefully and the ink came spurting out onto this wall. And I tried to use the Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay India ink, the white color one, to paint over, but the color of the wall and the ink is, well, they don't look the same. I have some ink splatter on this sheet of paper that I have pasted on the window pane. This is basically to block out the sun, because if the sun would come in and heat up the room will become very hot. So I have pasted big pieces of paper using blue tack on these window panes here. When I'm working on my computer, I would usually close the curtains because the strong sunlight can be quite glaring and uncomfortable to my eyes. This is where I like to set my camera because I can have the busy background on the left and right, and just behind me it's clean and clear background. So this is my home studio. It's just a bedroom with some tables and some shelves, nothing too sophisticated. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. See you in the next video. Bye.
How to open a book? You know how to open a book? No? No, the cat. No, the cat. You don't like this book? You like this book?